Well, that's what they're doing. They're getting their revenge against the Western hegemony the right way. They're not doing it off the cuff. And I think it's important to understand that if you take a look and see who's accumulating all the world's commodities, it ain't the West, and it's all the countries like China, like Saudi Arabia, and all of the countries associated with them who are finding, like I said, a good amount of safety in numbers, and thus creating one hell of a formidable entity.
In this insightful discussion, Andy Schectman emphasizes a significant global shift in finance, hinting at a strategic move away from the US dollar hegemony. He details the growing trend of countries engaging in currency swaps and trading in local currencies, especially within the BRICS alliance. The focus is on accumulating tangible assets like gold, with nations on the Belt and Road, in BRICS, and the Eurasian Economic Union leading the charge. Schectman warns of the potential repercussions for the West, underscoring the meticulous, plotted nature of this financial transformation. As these countries steadily accumulate gold and resources, he suggests a looming checkmate for the US dollar, signaling a formidable shift in the global economic chessboard.
Yeah, and for people who don't understand what a currency swap is, it's exchanging of interest and principal, usually mostly interest, but principal in one currency for the same in another. It allows companies that are doing business abroad they will often use currency swaps to get a more favorable loan rate in a local currency than if they borrowed money, especially US dollars, from a different US dollar based or Swift based bank, because especially with rates as high as they are right now, it's costing them a lot of money. So when the BRICS meeting ended in August, that was one of the promises that they made, was that, well, until we come back with some sort of an agreement on a communal settlement currency, we're going to all trade on the Project M bridge. M is in money. That's that cross-border system that allows these countries to trade with one another, even their central bank digital currencies, without using the Swift system. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They're trading with one another in their local currencies, getting preferred rates, preferred interest rates, and all of that settlement outside the dollar, little by little by little. This is the logarithmic decay that chips away at the hegemony of the dollar, and at some point will affect not only the settlement status of the dollar, but more importantly, its reserve status. And I think this is something you will expect to see more and more and more of. And then you have countries like Venezuela, who has almost 18% of the world's total oil reserves. Again, in and of themselves, not imposing, but add all of these countries together who are finding safety in numbers. They have just publicly said that they want to become a full-fledged member of BRICS, as did Pakistan, as did Nigeria. You talk about Nigeria, you put all these countries together and then throw Nigeria into the mix, you're talking 80% of all the world's oil and 73% of all the global gas reserves. You put in all these new countries, and it's not a joke. This becomes very real. And when you have 27 other countries that have formally applied or expressed interest in joining the BRICS, all of the ones that have been admitted so far are either central to shipping routes and lanes or massively resource rich. And you will see this trend continue. And these will be the nations that will control the majority of the world's energy and the world's commodities, including, like President Widodo, Indonesia, who is calling for an OPEC-style cartel of rare earth metals. Here again, we didn't think this through very well. Most of the metals that you need to build batteries are found in Indonesia and in China and the Eurasian continent. Not very well thought out. And all of these countries are on the Belt Road or joining BRICS. The ones that are accumulating all the gold, they're on the Belt Road. They're in BRICS, they're in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, they're in the Eurasian Economic Union. All of these countries that, like if you look at the countries who have bought gold so far this year, China, the one that sticks out is Poland. They're massively buying it, kind of the outlier, but you got Turkey, who was told by the EU, no, you're out. And now they're striking deals with Russia for natural gas. Russia wants them to be the natural gas hub for Europe. You got India, Uzbekistan, they're part of the Eurasian Economic Union, the Philippines, Russia. These are all the countries that are accumulating gold, and these are all the countries that will be on the Belt Road, will ultimately be on the BRICS. And the West is void of any of this type of accumulation of assets, of commodities. They're the ones selling it all, leaving the West, going to the East, and the countries that are building a new system and finding safety in numbers. Yeah, it's a scary thing. And this is the part that people don't get because they don't see the plotting nature of it. They don't see this is how you do it the right way. It's a lot easier just to, it's kind of like when you're really pissed off at someone and just furious. You want to call them or text them and tell them what an idiot he or she is. But then if you just sleep on it and just do it the right way, plot, get your revenge the right way. Well, that's what they're doing. They're getting their revenge against the Western hegemony the right way. They're not doing it off the cuff. And I think it's important to understand that if you take a look and see who's accumulating all the world's commodities, it ain't the West. And it's all the countries like China, like Saudi Arabia, and all of the countries associated with them who are finding, like I said, a good amount of safety in numbers, and thus creating one hell of a formidable entity in every single way, militarily, population-wise, GDP-wise, natural resource-wise. I mean, in everything that means something. And they're doing it the right way. So until it happens, there'll be lots of naysayers. And that's why I talk about logarithmic decay. Every one of these things that we talk about is like one axe swing at the tree. One and one and one and one. And you keep hitting the damn thing until finally, bang, it falls over. But that's what's going to happen. Just a matter of when and how. And that's why so many people will be caught off guard, because they don't believe that each axe swing means anything. Oh, bullshit, it means nothing. The dollar will be king forever, until it's not. And when it's not, you can tell by the chessboard that they're making, it will be one hell of a very, very, very strong chessboard, where it's checkmate. It ain't even check. You got nowhere to run. When they say checkmate, you will have such a huge group of countries that represent the lion's share of the world's commodities and of human population and of global GDP and of military might. I mean, go on and on and on.
In this next discussion, Andy Schectman delves into the societal shifts since World War II, highlighting a departure from the unity and resilience of that era. He draws attention to the current divisive landscape, emphasizing the need for individuals to think independently. Schectman hints at an impending financial crisis, urging viewers to consider the changing dynamics and the potential impact on the country. He questions the reluctance to prepare for such a crisis, advocating for a contrarian approach with a focus on gold and silver as a hedge against the looming uncertainties. Schectman underscores the risks of not being proactive, suggesting a potential victimhood in the face of an evolving financial landscape.
And we have a country that it ain't like it once was. It ain't like it was after World War II, a united country. We're not that way anymore. We're a bunch of wallflowers. We don't work like the people in World War II, that generation did. We everyone is either getting loans to go to college or their parents paid for it. Everyone from World War II era, from the 50s back, they worked 2 jobs to put themselves through school or whatever it was. There's just, the whole thing is different, everything. The way that we associate with one another, the way we speak to one another, our unity or lack of, the divisiveness, this is all part of it. So you put it all together, yeah, this is a big deal. And we're talking about history, crossing a Rubicon where things are going to change in this country at some point. And the worst part about it is that because people don't see each axe swing as being substantive in and of itself, they are leading the masses to slaughter. And it's one of these deals where if you don't think for yourself, you're dead in the water. And then ask yourself, what would be so bad with preparing for a hurricane of financial proportions? What would be so bad? What are you going to miss out on? Not much. And I think the downside risk is far, 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 far less in terms of downside risk in gold and silver. And it's not even then the upside, because that upside is something I'm not really looking forward to. I think it's more along the lines of the risk of not being a contrarian right now increases exponentially the likelihood of being a victim more than anything else. Not being rich, but being a victim.
In today's eye-opening discussion, we explored the intricacies of global finance with Andy Schectman. From currency swaps to the shifting dynamics of world trade, Schectman painted a vivid picture of a changing economic landscape. The emphasis on gold accumulation by emerging economic powerhouses, coupled with the potential decline of the U.S. dollar's hegemony, raises critical considerations for the future. As we navigate these complex financial waters, it's crucial to stay informed and think independently. If you found today's insights valuable, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below.